I'd like to share with you what I think is a great definition of leadership. It goes like this. Leadership is understanding reality and taking appropriate action. You can't be a leader understanding what's going on and not act. That's what I'm about, is the and. For I had a lot of understanding and little action for a long time. My story starts with an incredible dose of birth luck. I was born here in Portland, the great Pacific Northwest. I hiked the gorge, I climbed the Cascades, I backpacked in the High Sierra. I appreciate nature. Nature brings me peace. It helps me put perspective on life, all life. And I must say, when nature is threatened, I get upset. In 1970, I was 25 years old. Earth Day took me by surprise. What also took me by surprise was the founder of Earth Day, the activist, Cylvia Hayes, grew up 20 miles from here, Camas, Washington. He had the same love of nature and the same appreciation for the Pacific Northwest. He happened to be born the same year I was. Earth Day has been repeated 43 times and will celebrate its 44th anniversary this April. Way to go, Dennis. 10 years later, 1980, I was in a study group. Our book was the Global 2000 Report, commissioned by President Carter, and it was the report to the President about the future, 20 years hence, only 2 decades, about what the planet would look like if we maintained the course we were on. And by the year 2000, most of the predictions were spot on, close enough, except a major one: food prices didn't go up as much as expected. The Global 2000 Report. There was enough in that report to cause me great anxiety. I joined the Yale School of, Jennifer's alma mater, School of Forestry and Environmental Sciences Leadership Council, because I believed that there would be good public policy backed by great science. And where was the great science? It was at Yale. So I served on that council. And so by the time, shortly after the turn of the century, that Al Gore came to town with this fantastic slideshow, I was in the audience. I was aware, but I came out a changed person. I had enough information. I had heard the stories. I read the books. It was time to act. So I bought my first Prius. This is my second one. In 2001, I got the first model that came to Portland. 2.5 years later, I bought the 2004 version. And this image that I chose is taken by OEC, in fact, and not only represents clean, low-cost, efficient, state-of-the-art transportation, but it connotes happiness. And that's the key. When you are saving the planet, you are a happy person. So Al Gore's thing changed me. I went home and I started to do things. The light bulbs were easy. I could actually change a light bulb. Low-hanging fruit with huge payoff in kilowatts saved. I insulated the 70-year-old home, hollow walls, 4-inch studs, put a Tyvek around the house, insulated the walls. I did that. Wasn't appropriate for solar because of tall trees. But there was a farm out in Aurora that we owned, and a big south-facing roof on that barn. Put 384 solar panels on it. 83 kilowatts, the largest agricultural installation at the time. Did the same thing, Paul, on the Big Island, my second home, just in the past year. So I was starting to do things. One day I was driving home, and it's a street that's about 1 mile long. And right at the head of the street, I noticed solar panels on a house. This was back around the Gore time, around the turn of the century. And I was amazed. That's Emily's house. solar panels on Emily's house. Emily's was born in Austria, a widow, 75 years old, fixed income. She maintained the neighborhood phone tree and the neighborhood watch. She was a really great person. Everybody knew her, but she was the first on the street to have solar panels. So I asked her, show me your system. And she proudly showed me her system. And she said, Al, I wanted a new dining room set. Brand new dining room table, chairs. It was going to cost $15,000. That's what I really wanted. And then I found out I could have those solar panels for the same amount. And I decided to go with the solar panels because every day I would be happy. I would be happy every day thinking about those solar panels. And I remembered that story, and it further activated me. I joined the Environmental Defense Fund in New York City's National Advisory Board because I was impressed by EDF's ability to get corporate America and big government, think the White House, activated on this subject. Cap and trade. They worked within McDonald's, they worked within FedEx, they worked within Walmart, inside the companies, using market forces and common sense to change those corporations. EDF I learned from every year. I was invited on to the Energy Trust of Oregon board. I served for 6 years. I learned about kilowatts, I learned about therms, I learned about conservation and incentives and renewables. And I can tell you one thing, folks, this state is lucky to have the Energy Trust of Oregon. They do incredible work. Their job is to prevent more power plants from needing to be built. And they are doing it every year. And the public is supporting the ETO. Thank you for that. But there's one thing that wasn't quite finished. And that was that our foundation, which as you heard, supports environmental stewardship. We had a really great portfolio, social, responsible investing goals. One of the greatest experiences of my life was sitting down with my 3 daughters, who are on the board, and deciding our values for social screens on the portfolio. This is 5 or 6 years ago. To have that intergenerational conversation about what's important was just fantastic. So we already had a really good social screen on our portfolio. No weapons, no tobacco, no bad oil. Bad oil. No bad oil. And then it was the college students that caught my attention last year. They were talking about divestment. Remember South Africa? Divesting of South African business, what change that made, started on college campuses. Now it's divestment of carbon. What did that mean? They were talking the filthy 15, but there was no standard definition. Then it was the London-based Carbon Tracker Institute's 200 terrible carbon companies. And I called my portfolio manager, I heard the tone, and he said, go with the GICS code, the global index for the sector, oil, gas, and coal. I said, let's do it. The family agreed. We have no carbon in our portfolio, and neither in my personal portfolio. And so I called Patrick, our investment manager, this week, and I said, tell me what's happened since we did it. He says he's getting more calls from family foundations and from other organizations, trustees. They want to go carbon-free in their portfolios. And I said, well, when you discuss that, how carbon-free? He said, it's called full divestment. Full divestment. That's what we did, and it's what they're asking for. So there's a trend building, and that's very positive. College kids keep the drumbeat. Make all your institutions go carbon-free on their portfolios. I asked Patrick, what's the cost to our return? 2 days later, he said, none. None. Do not believe the industry, the carbon industry, or the financial industry that being carbon-free in your portfolio is going to cost you income. It will not. You can track the market. The computers know how to do it. We're doing it. So ladies and gentlemen, young and old, do what you can do. Influence those you can influence. Do not give up. We need not only your understanding of the big problem we're facing, but also your action. Remember the definition of leadership: understanding reality and taking action. Thank you.